Hello Pisces. Well, we are 3 days into January and I'm really hoping that you're having a good year so far and that you had a brilliant holiday. You may have noticed that if you have seen other intros and stuff, this hasn't got my intro on it, this hasn't got my little welcome video or I appreciate you video, I'm so sorry. It's basically because it's taking a lot of time to do that. My computer, the PC that's about 10 years old, does not like doing that. So I'm going at the moment, reverting back, because I want to get all these done in time for the February readings. I'm reverting back to live for now. So until I get a laptop that actually allows me to do these videos in a speedy process, you may find that I do more live readings, and I'm actually going to do a 2019 live reading maybe around sometime next week. Maybe it would be the second week of January. I'm going to be looking at doing a full 2019 forecast for all signs, just to see what kind of information comes up for us. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Enchanted Tarot. I'm going to be doing 6 cards here, and then we'll get an oracle card and see what comes through for you guys. So again, apologies you don't get all the fancy video and the fancy things, but tarot is where it's at, right? You know, the meaning of the video is mostly the tarot, and I feel like that is the messages are the most important bit. So here we go. I'm shuffling. They're very big, so I'm having to shuffle them off camera. Alright. I'm going to do them one at a time so I'm not overwhelmed with all the information and I can give you the information that the Spirit want me to give you. And I may have to turn this around in just a second, just so you can see more of the cards. There we go. And it is a very dull day here, but at least I've got some daylight for you guys. Alright, so move you slightly out of the way. First card we've got, guys, my lovely Pisces, in January is the Ace of Pentacles. This is kind of like a supernova to me. That's the word that came to mind first of all when I looked at this. This is mostly to do with you feeling empowered, you feeling connected. Maybe you've looked at some things recently where you're sort of like, I want to change this, or I'd like to get more out of this. Or maybe you've looked into your own astrology for 2019, or maybe you've looked at your own life and just taken some inventory of it. And you realize that maybe it's not exactly where you want to be, but it's certainly something that you want to progress with. I feel like this is telling you basically to kind of look at your soul purpose. For the aces, it is basically about the self, about your path through life, and about the potential, the manifestation potential of changing the fundamental energies, because this is an earth. So this is basically your fundamental energies of what makes you you. So maybe you could change an element of it that feels like it's coming through some kind of self-assertion, your confidence, your self-esteem. I just get the fact that this is possibly an opportunity for you, maybe through word of mouth, maybe just something, a hobby on the side. Maybe it's something that you're wanting to dedicate more time to in order to create something that means a great deal more to you than what you're doing right now. I mean, maybe you still enjoy what you're doing right now, but there is something else that you feel like you're meant to be doing, something else that you feel like you need to level up to achieve. So it's not saying it's impossible, far from it. It just means that this is a spark, this is a boom in your understanding and your creativity in order to see what it is you're meant to be doing. And it could be that you need to be helping other people, but also making sure that you have time for yourself. It could also be that you're understanding more as about who you are. But then you have the 5 of Cups, which is 5 of Hearts in this deck. So it shows that, yes, you've probably had some heartbreak or some issues. And there could be a feeling of despondency. I think a lot with this is adversity comes in various different ways. There may be a slight sense of loss or regret about how 2018 started and how, looking back at a year ago, it was kind of like, oh, well, I didn't do very well last year, so maybe I'm not going to be doing well this year, or 2019 starts on a little bit of a wonky foot. So whereas you may still have the understanding as to, okay, well, I want to do this and I want to do that, you're still looking at it going, oh, actually, um, I'm not quite sure how I like this. I don't think I do like it. I don't know whether I can change this. Um, and just feeling like you sort of stuck until something happens. It may be that you have a doctor's appointment coming up, or you need to get somebody to sign off on a lease, or you need to get somebody to get back to you, and you're kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs until somebody actually does something, and that can be incredibly frustrating. I get that. But I think that this is kind of saying, yes, you can feel regret for some things that you can't change, but they were never in your control anyway. I don't feel like you could be able to control, for instance, when you go to see this appointment, or when you go and have to wait for this person to get back to you with the forms, or whether this lover comes back to you with open arms. You can't really control that. Focus on what you can control, which is taking the energy of the Ace of Pentacles and maneuvering it into something that's tangible for you, something that you can work with, because you got the Six of Hearts straight away after. Now, this card is beautiful. This is sometimes about nostalgia and sometimes about feeling true in yourself and making sure that you have this innocence renewed. Nurture that inner child, nurture that part of yourself that says, I want to explore, I want an adventure, I want to be, looking at who I am and how I can maneuver things, trying to show yourself in a different way. Because I do feel a lot of this is to do with your sense of, I'm not who I used to be. That sometimes is a good thing, but you were that person before. You may think, oh, 4 years ago I was doing this and this and this. I was going here, there, and everywhere, and I felt so free. Circumstances change. We cannot always, control them. Again, going back to the sense of control. But also, I feel like you're still that person. That person is still you. It's just the case that maybe things have changed, maybe your health has changed, maybe something has altered, but you still have that dedication, that fire, that sense of well-being in you. You still have that capability. So I think this is mostly about you getting back into that frame of mind, and that frame of mind is saying that you can do it, you will do it, and you'll succeed. So that's sort of what's building up for me here for you. Wow. So you've got an Ace of Pentacles and also the Ace of Wands. Look at that tiger strip. That's a bit, I wouldn't want my room painted like that, let's just say. But, each their own. So yes, this is basically you becoming wild. As you can see, she's got her own little stripes on this particular card too. So with the Ace of Wands, this gives you the inspiration. This gives you the creation. Maybe even the year turns. New year, new you, all that kind of stuff that's being fed to us. But it's not really a new you, it's a continuation of you, it's a betterment of who you are, it's a opportunity for different things. You have 365 opportunities, and that, I think, is what's really altering your mindset, altering your connection to things, is that you're thinking, okay, so I can fresh slate, nothing's really continuing, I can actually dedicate myself to do something that I really want. And then because you're actually seeing this from a new perspective, you're able then to dedicate yourself to actually exploring the potential and exploring what's actually coming through for you. For some of you, this is new inspiration regarding work. It's an idea as to how to make things better or more smoother for your place during work. So it could be that this boss is being a little bit harsh, or you have too many things to tie up at the end of the week, or too much paperwork. If it comes to work and you're trying to do that, I think you'll find a new and exciting way of improving that workload and improving yourself and actually saying, oh, okay, I can do this differently. It may be that you don't get credit for that, but it's fine. It helps you. And that is the most important thing. You don't need to be lauded up and doing this kind of stuff. If it makes your job easier, that's, I think, is going to be all the things you need. But I do feel that a project or an idea or something that you've had dwelling or bubbling over in your mind in 2018 is definitely going to make its way now into 2019. It wants you to pay attention to it. It wants you to take it up and say, hey, okay, this is something that I can really grasp. Then we have the Fool. Okay, so you are doing, that's what I was saying before about the Five of Hearts. It's like, oh, I didn't really do much last year, or I didn't really do what I wanted to. The Fool is saying, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It was still, this is a beginning. This is spontaneous beginning. This is something that you can use. Basically, keep the faith. Make sure that you continue on this journey. This is a chance for you to actually, going back to the childlike innocence that I was mentioning before, the Six of Hearts is all about having that innocence and childlike, inspiration. The Fool is sometimes seen as having the inspiration of a child and having that apparent foolishness that goes with curiosity and, the fact that children always ask questions. This is something that I think you can embrace. This is a connection within your inner child that you can actually say, you know what? I want to do this. I want to change this. I want to be this particular person. I want to embrace my inner child. And other people may not actually understand why. They may be like, oh, hang on a second. You were fine there and you had a good life and you had a settled existence. Maybe to you now, settled isn't good enough. Settled is just stagnation. Settled is sitting on your bottom watching TV all day, which, to be honest, I used to enjoy doing as well. But now it's a case of always feeling like you need to get more done. You always want to get things done. And I think that's something that you can take into this year. You can take that energy into this year to try and motivate yourself. And then at the bottom again, you have the Two of Wands. So whereas the Ace gave you the idea, the spontaneity, the connection with the creativity that you need, the Two of Wands comes forward with progress on that idea. So by the end of the month, you should sort of have an inkling or a direction as to where you want to be and how you want to do things, where you want to go. Absolutely request your best self to help you, your higher self to help you. Absolutely tune into yourself, do meditations, do whatever you want to do to help better your physical body and your mental self. But also I feel like this is something that you will need, because you need this to kind of carry that energy forwards. I feel like you need to maybe feel where the creativity is going. I personally do yoga to connect with the prana or the life force, which assists us in the energy going through our veins, and reconnects with your body, and you can feel it and you can thank it. It's kind of that self-awareness and going, oh, okay, so my body does this, my body does that. Sometimes we can only feel the aches and pains. I think with this one, you're going to be starting to feel the changes coming through for you, like the influences coming through you as well, from those around you, from those above you, from those who are trying to help you, and for those who are trying to hinder you. But this is where you get that innocence and you go back and you go, oh, I know what I need to do now. So don't rush. You don't have to rush through this month, although I think for many of us, we always say that January is the slowest, and then it seems to crank really, really swiftly, and so it's July and you don't know where it's gone. So I think that, you are going to benefit a lot from this connection, really. Now I'm just going to do some Earth Magic Oracle cards and see what's coming up for you guys. I'm just going to shuffle these by Stephen D. Farmer. And these Enchanted Tarot are by Amy Zerner and... oh, I can't remember the name. But yeah, you can have a look at them. Right, let's have a look. Oh, this came out for somebody else and I can't remember who, but it's Dance Celebration. Beautiful. So this is basically about you enjoying life, basically enjoying the path that you set yourself on, not that you have been set on. So I feel like this is telling you in a huge way that there is celebration to be had. It's not just Happy New Year and then forget about it. This is 2019. Astrologically, we have such a nice year. We have barely any, bits and pieces that are going to really drive us up the wall. We have lots of things. It's kind of like an in-between year, because as far as I know from my fellow astrologers and, the people I really look up to and admire, this is kind of like an in-between year. 2020 is when we have big effects in the astrological plane. So I think this is kind of a chance for you to experiment, dance a little bit, enjoy yourself, go forwards, have a little bit of a shimmy, look at the joy in life rather than look at the dismal perspectives, which this one, Five of Hearts, can sometimes say. Make sure you appreciate what you do have rather than what you don't have. And I think you'll start to see things change. And I think you'll honestly start to believe in yourself a lot more. And that's something that I think Pisces need to do. I love my Pisces friends. I can't remember how many I have, but I have quite a few Pisces friends, two of which are my best buddies. And I feel like this needs to be something that you do for yourself. You are very sensitive people. You know that you swim in a whirlpool of emotion, and this is a strength, not a weakness. This is where you can kind of tune into things, kind of like Aquaman. And I know that I've seen the film, and you can kind of connect with things and bring it in and bring yourself towards something that suits you. So make sure this year is a year for you. Make sure this year is a year where you start in January and push forwards and make sure that you connect within that energy. Well, I love you and leave you, my beautiful, glorious Pisces. Do leave a comment below if you resonated with anything. Let me know how things are going. If you'd like to subscribe, please do make sure you also click on the notifications, because I don't think people are getting a lot of the videos when I do actually post them. And if you'd like a reading, all the information that you need is down below, or will be as soon as this video is uploaded. And yeah, I just wish you all the very best starts to 2019. Take care, love you lots, and speak soon.